Alright, hello everyone. So it's Tuesday and there's a bunch of stuff to cover for this one. So we have the event itself. The event is going to be pretty much the same as all of our previous events. For this event, the currency is going to be the Civilian Recovery Pack, and you can get a bunch of it by just clearing the Murder on the Warp Express. The Warp Express also has a final encounter that will give you a more efficient Anchorphalin to resource ratio. So that's the one you want to grind if you are going to grind. And of course, you can just do the Mirror Dungeon grind instead if you don't want to do that. The Mirror Dungeon grind, you just pick the Murder on the Warp Express floor team pack and you'll be able to get a bunch of the Civilian Recovery pack. You can do the hard one also. The hard one will also give you more rewards rather than the regular one, but ultimately it's up to you. In the end, I farmed the previous event by just doing the Mirror Dungeon, so that is a viable way of doing it. For the main story, if you are far away from unlocking this event, you can just do first time clears of each of the stories encounters and you'll be able to get a Civilian Recovery pack as a first time clear reward only. Alright, so the special pack here is going to be this giant Civilian Recovery pack thing here, the Fixer Recovery pack, and that will become 20 of the Civilian Recovery pack, and this will have the highest chance to drop in the final encounter of the event. Yep. Alright, so the next one is which is going to give you the big bonuses. This is going to be the Multicrack Office Rep Faust and Heathcliff and Dimension Shredder Outis, which is the banner characters, giving you 40%, but you can also just use all of the other previous W Corp gang or Dimension Shredder gang to get 20% bonus. So that will add up to 130%, so just mix and match until you get it. And for Heathcliff, if you want to get him first, you can just get 500, go to the shop, exchange directly for him, add him to your party, and you get the 40%, and then you can take out whoever you want to replace with that Heathcliff. Yep. Alright, so that's going to be it for the event stuff. Let's go to the patch. I'm actually quite excited for this patch because this patch, they add a detailed stagger threshold UI change here. So you can see which stagger threshold Faust is going to get staggered at and which stagger threshold the Brazen Bull is going to get staggered at. So this will actually help us a lot with deciding how much damage we need to do, or can we actually get the stagger this turn, for example. Because there's been quite a few fights where I have to kind of guess whether I can get the stagger, and this stuff right here is just good for calculating and doing the math. Yeah. Another thing that they are trying to do is that they want to add different I don't know what to call this, trait keywords they called it. It's like factions, yeah. So this is Limbus Company Faust, and then this is the Syndicate Blade Lineage Salsu Yisang. So I'm guessing like you're gonna have like Kurokumo Syndicate on the Kurokumo gang, and maybe Wing W Corp characters will just be like the Wing something faction, I don't know. But yeah, this is, I guess, just lore stuff maybe. And then they're also clarifying activation conditions for certain ego gifts. All you need to know is that it basically just functions the same as before. It's like Bloody Mist, Soothe the Dead, all of these need specific teams, like you need bleeders, you need sinking characters and whatever. So yeah, you just need to have the correct members on your team and you'll be able to activate your ego gifts. So that's pretty much it for the UI stuff. The UI stuff, the stagger threshold is really, really good stuff. But the real shit now, let's talk about the IDs. The IDs for this event, I really hope that they would buff W Outis because she did a lot of charge count, and this Heathcliff here seems to have one answer to that, which is Photoelectricity, a new unique status effect, which when the target is hit, the attacker will gain charge count equal to the value, and if the attacker has lower than this amount of charge count, they gain additional charge count. And inflict Photoelectricity is equal to the charge on self, which implies that maybe this Photoelectricity could scale because at turn end this effect will expire. So yeah, this is potentially the answer to charging up my Outis, because Outis honestly takes very, very long in order to get the charge count and charge potency on herself. So this character also has the passive, same as Outis, where he gains charge potency every time this unit consumes X cumulative charge count in this encounter, and at turn end he will gain haste, and he will also gain more haste at higher charge potency. And this is important because Photoelectricity will end at turn end, so he needs to be faster so that his slower allies can go and hit and get the Photoelectricity charge count. And of course, this character needs a lot of charge potency, so he can do more of this application of Photoelectricity. And his skill tree also scales off of charge potency. He gains coin power for every X charge potency, gain charge count, and he gains charge times X charge count. So he needs to really scale on this charge here, so his skill tree will become quite a powerhouse of a move, especially since it's a 4-coiner. So yeah, it could be quite a hard-hitting skill tree here. He also inflicts photoelectricity again, equal to charge on self, so you can use here or here, and then you can inflict blunt fretch here. But the blunt fretch is this turn, so that means he also once again needs to be fast. Thankfully, he has that inbuilt haste to make him go faster. Skill 1 and Skill 2 are going to be consuming charge count and gaining him charge count, but Skill 2 is unique in that it will consume his HP to raise his charge count to V, and then he will consume charge count to gain coin power. So that is quite interesting right there. I'm guessing that this line here is separate from this line here, so you can use Skill 2 to give yourself a bunch of charge count, and then after that you can use Skill 2 if you have a certain amount of charge count to dump all of that charge count to gain coin power, and that will help you to get this additional charge potency here. Besides that, the other debuffs are like defense level down, HP healing down. I don't think these are too important for most encounters, but this photoelectricity stuff here, this looks like a really nice buff for the Warp Corp gang and the Multicrack gang in the future. Alright, so with Heathcliff out of the way, let's talk about the paid characters, the paid banner. This is going to be Multicrack Office Faust, and she's going to function very similarly to Heathcliff. Skill 2 will have some way of consuming HP to raise your charge count to V, and she also needs to get charge potency by consuming charge count. That charge is very good for her because she gets more damage. If target is at low HP, she gets more damage again, and if she kills the target, this unit and 2 allies with the least charge count will gain charge count equal to charge plus X, scaling off of the charge potency. So very good stuff already on the passive, but skill 3 also scales off of charge in terms of coin power, and in terms of charge count gain here, charge plus X charge count. So gain more of this charge count here. Eventually you come here, you dump all of your charge count here, as well as maybe gain the charge count back if you need to, and then you just keep repeating, and this character can probably scale pretty damn well if you can feed her. And in addition to that, she also deals more damage for every charge at a certain level, and she inflicts MV Fratch next turn. Next turn is very good, because then you can time it with your Rip Space, with your Dither, and you can get a crap ton of damage, and an X plus charge, you inflict additional MV Fratch. Next turn, man. Next turn is just so damn good for this team, especially since if you look at Multicrack Heath, skill 2 is also an MV skill, and then remember Quick Suppression, Dither, Rip Space, blah blah blah, and Outis skill 2, all of them are NV, so you'll be able to get quite a bit of NV damage output with this NV Fratch here. Really good stuff here. I like her stat lines. It reminds me a bit of W Ryoshu, in that W Ryoshu loves to kill, and this character looks very designed to try and kill and provides a little bit of support. I think W Ryoshu provides slash Fratch at some point with the skill 2, so this is going to be NV Fratch instead, so that is quite interesting. Right, so skill 2 is going to be consume HP to raise charge count to V, and then consume charge count to gain coin power. If you hit a resonance, you will consume all of your charge count, and then you will deal more damage for every charge count consumed by this skill. So skill 3 into skill 2 is probably going to be the main combo, because skill 3 will build up your charge count a lot, and then you want to apply the NV Fratch, and then you want to resonate with the NV, and then you dump your skill 2 and do a bunch of damage with the other Rip Spacers and Dithers, pretty much. So that seems to be the main combo here. Skill 3 into skill 2, that's the setup that you want to go for, and you need to get a lot of charge potency here. The interesting news here is that Faust does have a Telepole, and this Telepole gives her 7 charge count. So depending on the numbers, maybe she can just use this Telepole for free and just solo content, pretty much, is what I'm maybe hoping, but at the same time it doesn't really matter too much, because this additional charge count with Heathcliff on the party should be able to help feed her. Otherwise, what's the point of running these characters, right? Yeah, but Telepole onto this character here looks like a very scary thing, because Telepole, besides the gain 7 charge count, you also have, when this unit has charge, deal 2% damage per charge count, and you also spend 2 less charge count in your skills. So when you look at this, where you consume your charge count to gain coin power, plus the Fratch, plus consume all of your charge count and deal more damage, and if you have charge, you deal 2% damage per charge count, that's a lot of damage multipliers. So this Faust does look very scary with the Telepole Faust. So yeah, that's something to look forward to and try out later on. Next, we have Dimension Shredder Outis. I was hoping this ego would help to fix the charge count issues that Outis is currently facing, but this ego has a chance of fixing that. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, but it's a chance. The reason being is that it has 2 ways of giving you charge count. at less than X charge count, you consume Y% to gain charge count, or you gain on kill, gain charge count. These are the two ways you can get a lot of charge count. And remember that this ego is an AoE ego. If you resonate with this Dimension Shredder, you potentially can kill quite a few of the small mobs, and that could help to give you a bunch of charge count. If you're doing like wave content, like in Refraction Real Wave 4, where you have to fight a wave of enemies before you go to a boss, Dimension Shredder could be popped earlier on just to give you a bunch of charge count, and then you build up the charge potency, and then when you fight the boss, you have a bunch of charge potency ready, and you'll be able to go and fight the boss really, really effectively. So I think that this ego here has some potential for positive charge count gains, but at the same time, if it doesn't have positive charge count and it's just maybe neutral, that could also be fine. Why? Because of the passive, skills that consume charge count deal more damage for every charge minus Y, and maximum charge count plus X. This one, I don't really understand why it's like this. Maximum charge count is not really an important thing for Outis, in my opinion, and the skills that consume part here is just a free damage buff, essentially, for this character. So I think that this alone is already worthwhile to just pop this ego one time, and if you want to run her with W Core Gang, just getting an AoE attack with this thing here is already going to be quite good, especially since you're applying Dimensional Rift to all of them, and you're probably doing a boatload of damage, right, before you even do that. And if you kill any of the ads, awesome, you were able to get charge count here. So I think this D-Shredder Outis is going to be quite a solid ego, multi-AoE. Hopefully the damage number is going to be good, and hopefully this charge count will be positive, because if it's also positive, then this ego will be extremely good and always a must-have on Outis. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the actual numbers for all these characters, but tentatively, I think Faust is a beast of a character combined with Telepole. I think Outis' ego is going to make Outis quite a bit stronger, but if the numbers are bad, then I will just not have fun using these characters, in my opinion. But that is for when the numbers are actually bad. For now, I am optimistic that these characters here are going to help Outis a lot, because President Kim Ji-hoon is going to cook really hard with this event, in my opinion. Right. So that's going to be it for the initial review of this character's kits. Looks like a bunch of supports for W Outis, and an introduction of Faust as one of our main DPSs in this new charge potency mechanic. So yeah, alright, that's going to be it. If I miss anything, feel free to comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys when the numbers are actually out. Here's hoping for some good stuff. Alright, bye bye.